I'm a big believer that, certainly from a technology perspective, where we started out more focused on just helping to automate, facilitate great tenant experience, we're now thinking more around the idea of being a hospitality operating system. How do we help our building partners draw more from the hotel and restaurant industry and bring that approach, that mentality, that dedication to customer service and experience to the table each and every day, and deliver that not just to the person that signs the lease that maybe used to be perceived as the customer who we talk to every 5 years when we needed a lease signed, but now the reality that each and every person that enters our building is our true customer. And we've got to be able to deliver that customer experience, not just, again, every 3 to 5 years or 10 years, but every single day, every moment of the day, to every single person that enters our building. So we think about that, literally every minute. That's really why we exist.
When we think of the term CRE, it's commercial real estate, but it can also be customer relationship engagement, right? And I think that that's ultimately what landlords need to do the best. And that's what every single landlord, regardless of size or access to capital or current status, needs to do, is have that customer relationship engagement where you know the people in your buildings, because ultimately that is the most inexpensive and probably impactful thing for you to do.
We're all in the business of generating value, whether that's for the individual, whether that's for the organization, whether that's for the community. And I always view it, there's two forms of value. There's economic value, which we're all familiar with, and then there's social value. And how can an office building in a downtown contribute to social value? Can we create and generate social value? And so I think about the rooftop of the building I'm in right now. Typically, over the years, that roof would just sit there and receive the elements. We partnered with a group based out of Montreal. We now have 18 rooftops across the country in very dense urban settings, and they're being used for farming. And so we're growing fresh, healthy fruit and vegetables, and then we're donating the harvest to local groups or organizations that support those in need in the community. And we sometimes have our tenants go up and do the harvesting. And so to me, now you're checking a lot of the boxes that we've talked about, where your underutilized space is now being utilized for good purpose. And a lot of people benefit from it, not just the recipients, but the people engaged and involved in being part of that. And that's one example.
It's the old saying, treat others how you want to be treated, okay? From top down in our small organization, the 300 square foot tenant and the 300,000 square foot tenant are treated the exact same. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO, the chief marketing officer, or a property manager, or the janitor, okay? It just doesn't matter. We treat everybody the exact same.
I've met more groups in the last 6 months that are trying to find a space to build community than I ever have in my entire career, and that is indicative of something. And I think it's just a post-pandemic world and ecosystem that everybody's trying to figure out. And so, the question that preoccupies my mind is, how can I create space that would compel me to stick around the office area after work and connect with other people, and creating opportunities to do that without sacrificing the integrity of the area and the building and that sort of thing.
4 hours ago, and we can come back to sort of our tenant engagement, tenant experience journey. But 4 hours ago, we literally just hosted our first building wide here, where our offices are at 345 Park. We launched our tenant experience platform last year, and we've done a lot of community-oriented events here in the building for tenants of all the companies that are here. But today we hosted our first giving back event and experience for not just, we've done a lot of those for our own employees, but this is the first time that we, the landlord, were hosting one for the entire building and for anybody to RSVP for and to come to. And we were making sandwiches for 2 local, soup kitchens to hand out to their patrons. And it was great. It was amazing. And one of the tenants from the building, not an employee, was so excited to and he used that exact same term as like, this is an amazing thing to do as part of this community. And, usually employees from different companies don't have that opportunity to engage or interact with each other. We certainly, as the landlord, historically haven't had that opportunity. And so, it's been a huge part of what we've started to look at and focus on in our buildings as a model to deliver to people. And it can be really, really simple things that make a huge impact. And it's that combination of physical, what is the space, what are the physical amenities that you're offering, whether it's, just soft seating, whether it's food and beverage, health and wellness, conference and events, those are kind of I'd say the big three buckets. And then how are you facilitating getting the tenants in the building, the employees, the individual person to engage with those. And so again, it's that mix of physical and digital coming together.
When people come into our building, I want them to feel a certain way. And you're absolutely right about it can't be cut and repeat. It has to be a truly authentic experience. And we kind of talk about our buildings having a soul. And in everything we do for our building, every building, it's its own building, its own brand, and it's its own soul. And everything has to be very much on point for that building. So the music we choose is different in every building. Our scent is the same. Actually, that's not true. We have a building that we co-branded with Baccarat. And it's actually the first co-branded office building with a luxury brand. And we use their scent in that building and the house car for that building too, which was unusual for us.
We are learning to think like the hospitality industry. A hotel room is perishable inventory. A restaurant seat is perishable inventory. That's how those operators are always thinking about their businesses, because the night is gone. You lost that hotel room. You're never getting it back. That dinner shift, you had empty seats. You're never getting it back. So those operators are constantly thinking about, who are my customers? What are their names? What do they like? What can I do to make them feel like this is the place that they need to be? I think that has started to spill over into our business.